Yeah, Surajit, go ahead.
Yeah, am I audible properly?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Where are you joining from, Surajit?
We have we have done some discussion, but uh,
So again,
in the previous
you
week,
need to,
yeah, am I am I audible properly?
yeah, bring the microphone a bit closer to yourself, or you
Yeah.
come closer to
Now,
the microphone, whichever is easier.
now,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I was listening to your discussion, and it was a good discussion. And the points you have raised are fair points, I guess. So um, that there are, as far as misogyny or gender disparity is
yeah.
concerned,
So earlier we were discussing the 8 forms of marriages. Are you aware of
yes,
them?
yes. No, actually it is not practiced in India right now, so I was not aware of it.
Yeah, the question wasn't whether it's practiced or not. The question is it in your scriptures? And if it is in your scriptures, was it practiced by the Hindus at some point?
Can you tell me within which books it is
It's
written?
Manusmriti 3, chapter 3, verse 33.
Yeah, yeah, I know that Manusmriti has this kind of stuff that are objectionable with modern standards.
Yeah.
As
So what
Manusmriti
do
was
you
enacted,
what do you make
there
of this
was
highlighted passage in Manusmriti where it says the forcible abduction of a maiden
hmm,
from her home while she is crying out and weeping after having beaten and wounded and pierced is called the
yes,
Rakshasa
yes.
form. So the Rakshasa form is one of the forms of marriages which is permitted in Hinduism. Yeah.
Rakshasa means demon. So what kind of marriage is this?
Yeah,
Whether it
exactly. You
is
tell me
actually,
why would they allow such a marriage in Hinduism,
yeah,
even in the past?
hmm.
Because it's at the end of the
It's
day,
in,
this was like
yes.
the main guideline for the Hindus at some point in time. Many of the Hindus
Manusmriti
rejected
is
it
actually
because of
not that
modernity
old.
and secularism.
Manusmriti is, I don't think it's that old scripture. It is actually relatively new scripture as far as
Okay,
the
so
marriage.
would you actually condemn such a marriage?
Yes, of course.
Okay, do you know who actually practiced this
Uh,
in Hinduism? Do you know any
mm,
major figures who practice such a
the
marriage?
the problem is when you say Hinduism, Hinduism is not something that is set in stone. It's not a religion in traditional sense.
We
So
you know exactly what I mean. If you want to call it Sanatani, that's fine. So in the
no,
Sanatani,
no.
in who
Hinduism is a
such a marriage?
Hinduism is something that people are trying to define it in modern term, but there was a time when it was not defined. It was like basket of philosophy, basket of rituals,
My
basket
friend,
of
we don't want a history lesson what Hinduism is. We have discussed that already many times.
yeah.
I'm asking you about this form of marriage. Do you know any
Mhm.
major figure from Sanatan Dharma who practiced this Rakshasa Viva?
No, I am actually not aware about that.
Okay, it was Arjuna.
He did it with
Yeah,
Subhadra, I think, right?
Arjuna kidnapped the
Yeah,
sister of Krishna.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what
Mhm.
would you say about Arjuna when he practiced
Well,
such a
I
marriage?
well
Would you would
condemn him.
you would you condemn him for that, or would you say it's
Yes, I
okay?
will. Yes, I will condemn him.
Okay. He's one of the major characters in Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, yes. The
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita is actually, it is not that the Bhagavad Gita has historically happened. It was the context in which the Bhagavad Gita is written. The main point of
What do you
Gita
mean
is
not?
to
Oh, sorry. What do you mean it didn't happen historic? So would you consider Krishna to be a historical figure, or do you think it's just a story or mythology that's just made up by
mm, a lot of Hindu will consider him
Vedas?
as a historical figure. A lot of Hindu would not consider him as a historical figure.
I'm asking you. Forget about others. I'm
I will
asking
not
you.
consider him
Do you
as a.
think
I,
Krishna actually existed in history?
mm, I don't know. I personally would not consider him as a historical figure.
Okay. Do you know if Ram existed in history?
Similarly, I would not personally consider Ram as a historical figure because those things are because it's pretty obvious that
So
they
who existed from
mostly
your books? Who really existed in history? If
um,
Ram didn't exist, if Krishna didn't exist, who actually existed?
the writers
Hanuman,
of
Lakshman,
of
all these
Ramayana
people.
The
Yeah, the
writers
people.
of because these books are written long time ago, so it is not historically
Mm.
possible to verify who actually wrote it. And
Okay, so how
and the
can you verify? How can anything in Hinduism be credible if none of your scriptures actually are fact based? They are just
Is
mythologies.
not a scripture-based religion. So uh, trying to
Brother,
does
sorry, yeah, sorry, brother.
this
Brother, just quick question. Like, are you saying that no character of Hinduism is like authentic, all are like fairy tale stories? Are you really worshipping such character doesn't exist in the
uh,
history of mankind?
okay? These characters are symbolic. Mostly, if you read the Shiv Purana, uh, the first chapter in the Shiv Purana says that the Shiv Puran is a pointer to the Upanishads. Means the
No, what
philosophy
about
that
what
is
about Ram? No, no. What about Ram? Is Ram a fictional
similar.
character?
You can consider Ramayana as with Iliad and Odyssey. It is similar. It's a we call
I'm
it
talking about
Mahakavya.
Ram. Ram. I'm talking about Ramji. Is he a
Yes,
fictional character?
um, I
Ram
would
doesn't exist.
consider him as I would consider personally as a mythological character.
Should I go ahead and ask a question if that's all right?
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
So, Mr. Surajit, do you think that all these concepts and the figures they're just pertained to textual matter is what you're saying, and it didn't really happen? Because according to what you've been saying all this while, I feel that you don't believe in the existence of gods and deities in Hinduism.
See,
Do
every
you believe?
religion has certain faith. Every religion has a faith element. So a lot of Hindus have faith that Ram and Krishna were real characters. So this is a matter of faith. You cannot question that.
But I'm
But
sorry for
I'm
all
not.
these things that has been
Moreover, they
happening
believe
for
that
all
they
the
have
time since
faith
that.
that the Eiffel Tower is a god. Brother
Hello.
Hashim, just one little reference over here. He says that he will condemn even if Krishna, that he will condemn that if Arjuna abducts Subhadra. I have reference just in case if you need it. That Krishna
Yeah.
sanctioned the kidnapping. He was okay with it. He sanctioned it. He was okay for Arjuna to kidnap his sister. What the problem was that the elder brother of Krishna was not accepting.
What's the
So
reference
they
again?
made okay. Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
You will Google it right now.
So these kind of things are banned by the
Wait,
Indian
wait, wait,
Constitution and
wait, wait.
law.
Just
So you
give
cannot
you the reference.
say
Just
that
just a
wait,
these are
minute.
wait, wait.
Hindu practices.
Okay,
Let him pull up the
brother
reference,
Hashim.
brother.
Okay, brother Hashim. You just type Srimad Bhagavatam in English. It
Yeah.
is you will get it in a very easy format in Veda based. Okay,
Okay.
so Canto 10, Canto 10. It is
10,
book 10.
10.
Okay, 10, 10, 86, chapter 86.
Mhm.
Book 10, chapter 86, verse. Let me tell you the verse. The verse is, wait,
Okay. So I'm opening Veda base. So
yeah,
this
Veda
is
base. Just
Srimad
1086.
Bhagavatam.
look,
It's
yeah,
actually another name is Bhagavata
book 10.
Purana for this. It's chapter 10,
Yeah,
is it?
chapter 10.
Yes,
No, book
1086.
10, book 10, book 10, book 10. It's the book one. Okay,
Okay, book
now
10,
chapter
chapter
Right.
what?
86.
86.
Wow, that's a lot of chapters, man.
Yeah, it has 18,000 verses in all this book.
84, 6. Arjuna kidnaps Shubhadra
Yeah,
and Krishna
now I will
blesses
give
his
you,
devotees.
yeah, now look
Title?
at text 9, verse 9.
Okay, unfortunately, these people
Verse,
don't like verse numbers here. Oh, yeah, it is text. Yeah, yeah, it is.
yeah, just keep, yeah, verse
Okay,
9, verse 9.
is that the one?
Yeah, read it.
Okay, so it says here once on the occasion of great temple festival in honor of the Supreme Lord, Shubhadra rode out of the fortress like place on a chariot, and at that time the mighty chariot warrior Arjuna took the opportunity to kidnap her. Shubhadra's parents and Krishna had sanctioned this. Wow, so her own parents and Krishna sanctioned it to
Only
kidnap
the elder
their own
brother was
daughter.
not accepting it. And this guy
So
just
Krishna
now
is
was saying that
Subhadra's
he will condemn
brother
it.
as well, I
Wait,
think,
wait, wait.
right?
Just now you were saying that he will condemn this act. Here, even Krishna is sanctioning it. You're going against Krishna.
Okay, So yeah, this is the Rakshasa type of marriage. I think it's.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know exactly
I
what the
I
context is.
I would like to ask one question to you. Is that okay?
Brother Hashim. If you go
Yeah.
to verse 11, you will find that
Okay.
the elder brother of Krishna, he was not accepting it. He was against it. So that was the main issue.
That's
The
fine. I
same
mean, look,
chapter. Yeah.
for me, if Krishna sanctioned it, that is enough to say that this is your major religious figure and Bhagwan. They call it Bhagwan Krishna, isn't it? It's
Right.
not some ordinary person. If he sanctioned it, then that's it. That's the matter close for me.
It's
Whether
certified.
his brother condemns it or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, Surajit. Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
Surajit, you don't even believe Krishna's existence. So I don't know if you're the
No,
right
no. I
speaker.
would like to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Why would you trying to dismantle Hinduism using scripture? As I said, it is not a scripture-based religion. A scripture can be set aside. Like as I
Say again.
said,
I didn't quite hear that. Say it again.
yeah, Hinduism is not a scripture-based religion. There are thousands of such scripture. One scripture, if this is questionable, it can be set aside. So that I think if you want to dismantle Hinduism or debate with Hindus, you have to do it in terms of philosophy, not in terms of scriptures.
Why would
Because
you where did the philosophers get their learning of Hinduism from? If it's not the
philosophers,
scriptures, where did they get it from?
the scriptures work as like a guide, like in a science text, you use the book for a guide, but you don't take the book always as granted. Like
No, but where did
like
they get their knowledge from if it's not from the scriptures?
for
Where did the
some people,
philosophers learn from?
okay, so they can refer some scripture, then they can criticize that scripture if they
No, that
find
wasn't my
something or
question. My question is
no.
where did they acquire the knowledge from?
The acquire the if you want to acquire knowledge, you have to use your brain for that. Like you have to
Yeah,
you
but you know
cannot do,
when you just use your brain, for example, if nobody taught you any knowledge, yeah,
yes,
and
yes,
you just say use your brain. For example, if
yes,
somebody didn't go to school, would
yes,
they know algebra
yes. You will
just by
know
using your
algebra
brain,
from
or you had to learn it?
you will know algebra from a school book, but then you have to do further
Okay,
research
so
on it
so the
on
so
that.
the first source of information would be the scriptures. Is that what you're saying?
It can be scripture for a lot of sadhus. It may not be scripture. It can be
So for those
enlightenment.
sadhus, if it's not the scriptures, then where is it from? Where is the knowledge from?
It is like the Ramana Maharshi. If you know, do you know about him? Ramana Maharshi.
All I want to know is that you actually denied your major deities like Ram and Krishna's actual existence. So
Lot of Hindus does, not just me.
yeah, but then
Lot of
you
my
wouldn't.
brain
Do you reject the Vedas?
reject mean what?
Reject means you don't accept the authority.
Accept the authority mean what? It has lot of rituals,
Don't go
lot of
Jordan Peterson on me. Do you know what the Vedas are, right?
yes. It is
Okay. Do you consider
ancient.
the Vedas to be authentic source for the Sanatanis?
They are reasonably authentic because for a long
Sorry, did you
time
say
the
they're authentic or
Veds.
not authentic? Which one is it?
No, let me explain that. For a long time, Vedas were not written. It was called Shruti. Means the knowledge was
I'm
transferred
not
to
asking you
masters.
pre-Veda. I'm asking you post-Veda. Okay.
Yeah,
So you are not obviously in a pre-Vedic era. You're in a post-Vedic era.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
in the
you can
post-Vedic era, you as a Hindu, would you consider the Vedas to be authentic or credible source or not?
they are they would be considered a guide for Hindus to achieve realization who want to pursue that path.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but when you say
the
guide, I
Vedas
mean,
cannot be irrefutable. You cannot. No idea is beyond refute. That is the point. You cannot say that this book is irrefutable. That when you say that, all problem starts from that point.
okay, so
That is
you're
the
saying,
point.
I still didn't get a proper answer from you. Would you, so for example, say in the Vedas, it says something, yeah, that you should, for example, not drink alcohol.
Yes.
then would you follow that injunction or would you question it?
You don't need the Vedas for that, I think,
Well, some do actually.
right?
Some people need to be told what is permitted and what's not.
99% Hindus never seen the Vedas, let alone read it.
You-
And
that I agree
Don't
with you
even,
actually.
sorry,
That bit I
don't
agree with you. Most of
yes,
them do not
that
read
is,
the scripture, but most of
forget
them,
about reading it.
even they don't read it, they still consider it as authority. But anyway, so
Yeah.
Rajit, to be honest, many Hindus would consider you to be a Gnostic if you reject the
No,
Vedas.
no, I believe in God. So how can you say that I'm Nastic?
No, for
Nastic means
them,
someone who
your
doesn't
your
believe in
definition
God.
of your definition of Gnostic or atheist is not from Hinduism; it's from secularism. That's why you said you believe in God. So
Okay, you were talking about, yes.
For Hindus, if you reject the Vedas, then you're an atheist. Even if you
Now,
say you believe in God, you're
would
still
you
an
call
atheist. Because
Sadhguru
for
an
them,
atheist?
this
Would you call
religion
Sad,
is based on the Vedas. It's the primary source. It's the
would you call
foundation of the
Sadhguru an
religion.
atheist? You know about Sadhguru?
Do I know about whom?
Sadhguru
Sadhguru,
Yeah, of
Jagdivas.
course, Sadhguru. Yeah,
He
Sadhguru
says that
mocks
he
Hindu
never,
gods. You know that
yes, he
he
never
makes
read
fun
any
of Hindu
scripture in
gods.
his entire life. He never read any scripture in his entire life, but he is
Yeah,
very
he's
revered.
obviously ignorant of his scripture. That's the reason many Hindus reject him.
He is
He's
not
not a,
Let me read one
ignorant of
verse.
they
it.
don't consider him to be a guru.
Sorry,
Yeah, go
let
on,
me
go on.
let me read one
the
verse
Hindus,
from Shiv Purana.
yes,
Sadhguru considered enlightened, so he doesn't need the scripture.
Yeah, but
The
enlightened
scriptures for
according to whom?
reference.
Self-appointed enlightened man.
the Hindus as
I
a whole
mean,
know that the scriptures are full of mythologies. That is why they have shifted to philosophy and to
you can
Sadhguru
say
now.
that with revelation, right? Just like enlightenment, you can say that for revelation, that some prophets claim that they have the revelation of God. That is also a matter of faith, isn't it?
Okay, Surajit, I think it'll be good if I bring some actual Hindus here because you seem to be kind of controversial from what a Hindu would be.
No, that is the
Brother, if you
point of
allow me, like
Hinduism.
I will
I
quote
just,
one verse.
I,
If you allow
That
me, I'll quote
that
one
is the
verse.
brother. That is
I have one verse
pointless.
as well.
Quoting
I have
words.
one voice as well.
I want to say one last thing. I want to say one last thing. India is 80% Hindu country. You know that, right?
Yeah.
India
So,
population
so,
is.
so what about it?
The point is, despite of this scripture, the constitution of India is secular and banned lot of sins that you have mentioned. Like casteism is banned in the constitution. Equal rights of women is secured in the constitution. Would you say that India is more gender equal compared to
Yeah,
Pakistan,
but
Afghanistan,
hold on.
Iran?
One thing I want to understand is when you're talking about a secular constitution, it's not, got nothing to do with the actual scriptures, is it? You're talking
No,
about
that is the
secularism, and that's the
point.
reason Baba
No,
Ambedkar, he
I want to make
actually,
a point. I want to make
yeah,
a
your
point
your
that
point is
despite
to compare it
despite
with Pakistan, which is pointless, which is a moot point, because at
no,
the
no,
end
no,
of the
no.
day,
I was not saying that. I was
oh,
not
you did
saying that.
mention
I was
Pakistan, didn't you? Because
no, no. I was
it
saying
lives
that
rent free in most Hindu sets for some reason.
not Pakistan, not just Pakistan. Take Iran, take Afghanistan, take Syria,
Yeah.
take Saudi Arabia.
What
India
about
is
it?
Yeah, all Muslim
more
countries, only Muslim countries. Yes.
more gender equal than this country. How did that happen?
What do you mean by gender equal? What?
Means women
Because
have more right in India than these countries. Isn't that a
okay,
fact?
so let me ask you this: do Hindus have the right to divorce
Of course.
based on secularism or the scriptures?
It is based on the Hindu Marriage Act on the in the constitution.
Yeah, which is secular.
No, the point is,
What about
despite
the
India,
scriptures?
You
India
see, this is a
so
problem. So Rajit, what the Hindus did in India is that
I want to make a
they
point.
no
Please
no
let me make the
point you're
point. The
missing here
point
is
is
that
that India,
you are actually aligning yourself to secularism rather than to Hinduism. Do you realize
no,
that?
the point. So you say that India should be a Hindu country because it's
Hindu is
80%
not a
Hindu?
Hindu country; it's a secular country.
No, it can be a Hindu Rashtra.
Yeah, but I'm not asking you about hypothetical, what
Hindu
it can
Rashtra.
be, cannot be. When it was Hindu, yes, then there was a lot of discrimination for the women. Do you realize
Yes,
that? But
just
they
like
had to,
all
in
other
order
countries.
for them to become progressive and become, a nation which is respected by the world, they had to adopt secularism.
Okay, so I have to make the last point that
But here
the
we are
reason
comparing.
that
You know
was
what we are
possible.
comparing? We are not comparing different nations. We are comparing the scriptures. So, if, for
No, there is
example,
a
if there is
there is
somebody
a
in
point.
Iran,
Let me please make
no, no,
the
but you
point
need to
that
understand. Looks like you're missing the point.
yes,
So, I
yes,
need to
you
lay
will say,
down
let
the
me.
So,
foundation in order for you to make sure that this
Okay,
conversation is not gone off topic or off tangent. We are
right.
comparing scripture to scripture. Okay, we are comparing
yes.
a religion to another religion based on the
So
scripture. We are not
how do you think
comparing a nation
India
with
managed to
another
be a
nation.
secular
We are
country
comparing
despite?
scripture. Why do
Surajit,
you always
Surajit,
stop
you're
when I'm talking,
interrupting.
man? Let me
You're
finish.
interrupting. Just keep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's
okay,
the
I'm sorry.
reason you're not getting the point, because you're already thinking something else while I'm talking.
Okay, I'm sorry, but okay. So let me say this that
Did you understand what I'm trying? What our
yes, yes.
approach is? Our approach is the religion of Hinduism in contrast with Islam, for example, and then we compare that using not even the people who practice or who claim they practice Hinduism, like for
So
example yourself.
Islamic scripture doesn't have any this
See, you're doing it
misogyny in
again.
it. Is that
You're
what
doing
you
it
are saying?
again. Your thoughts are always somewhere else when I'm talking. Anyway, I'll tell you what. Come back when you
Suraj,
actually have time.
Okay, so let
Surajit,
me
let me help you
make
out
the
with one
last
thing.
point.
Surajit,
Let me
yeah,
make the
Surajit,
last. No,
just,
no.
Sur, sorry, just a minute. I just want to drag you back to one point which you missed. When Brother Hashim said that if you condemn or criticize or leave Puranas and your scriptures, and you will be considered as an atheist among the Hindus, and you said
That
no,
is not true.
right? Let,
No,
let me read your scriptures. Let me read your scriptures. Just give me 1 minute. Just let me read your scriptures. It's mentioned in Skanda Purana, book number 5, section number 2, chapter number 68, verse number 24 to 33. It says, men who condemn Puranas and Dharma Shastra become pisachas, the lower in the all categories. And again, it says in the Skanda Purana, book number 4, section number 2, chapter number 74, verse number 118 to 122. It says, one should not talk or associate with those who criticize Shiva and the Puranas. And it goes on and on. Shiv Purana again says those who criticize Shiva are equal to the dogs, pigs, and the demons and worms. And those who criticize
whoever
Puranas will be
who
thrown in the
wrote the
hell.
Skanda Purana? Who wrote the Skanda Purana?
Your,
All
your
right, I
people,
think okay,
your
Surajit,
sadhus.
we get the
What is
point.
his
Okay,
name?
that's fine, no problem. Thank you. He doesn't believe in any scriptures. He doesn't believe in the gods.
Yeah,
Not even a Hindu, I would say.
So this is one thing that I've noticed.
Actually no. I would say he's a Hindu, but of a secular, leaning, because
mind.
he's realized in this day and age there is no way you can defend Hinduism anymore. So you have to adopt a secular worldview in order to have this kind of conversations where you come out as someone who's progressive.